Hello and welcome, everybody, to Nerdstalgia's Top 5 Live. I am your host, Tim Babb, alongside with the... oh my God, I can't. Donnelly.
It's going to be that kind of show, huh? Jesus.
Dan, and get this guy some talcum powder for his forehead, Rich.
Talcum.
How's everybody doing today? It doesn't look as shiny tonight.
No, I put some talcum on it.
There you
I'm
go.
doing better than the talcum powder industry.
You said they banned it?
It's pretty much.
Well, yeah, it's cornstarch now.
Yeah, it's advised not to use the original formula for carcinogenic reasons.
Well, in the event of an apocalypse, we can all take our baby powder and somehow make cornbread.
Oh, I'm gonna be taking my pocket sand and I'm upgrading it to talcum powder. So when somebody tries to take my guns, I'm just gonna be like, talcum powder, that'll be with you in about 45 years. You just hold on, bud. I'm gonna come back and get my stuff in 45 years, so you're not gonna be doing so good.
There's always pocket sand. Always.
Yep.
Just little grains and lint.
A couple little Cheez-It corners from your kid just comes up and puts Cheez-Its in your pocket without telling you. You just sit on them,
Oh my God.
And you're all filthy.
It makes itself. Yeah, your ammo will make itself.
We're all not as clean and shiny as you are, Rich. So,
well, clearly.
So I just woke up from a 2.5 hour nap, which I'm not a napper. I never nap. I usually have a hard time. It wasn't planned. I literally watched the last episode of Succession, and next thing you know, I woke up, and I don't know what it is, if you guys experience this, but there's this weird phenomenon when you wake up at night. It's like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what fucking time of day. I don't know what day of the week it is. I'm totally confused at all of my surroundings. It's the most uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're disoriented. It's weird.
So every morning when you wake up is like when you go to a sleepover as a kid and you wake up and you don't recognize the room. You're like, what? Who are you people? Where am I? Oh yeah,
God, and it's always followed up with, whenever you say that, somebody inevitably says, well, you must have needed it. Well, no shit.
Yeah, but you know what? Those are the best naps. The ones where you just drift off. You didn't set an alarm. You didn't stress about how long it was going to take to fall asleep. You just drifted off and you came back.
Yeah.
It's always a better nap.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a fan of the nap.
I am not either. I don't typically take.
I don't typically take a nap, but I do enjoy one now and again.
I like a full night's sleep. A nap just is an interruption to my day. I never feel rested afterward. It's not ever a good thing.
I didn't even I wouldn't say I was I think I got decent sleep last night. I was up early this morning for work, but
Sure.
I don't know. I must have needed it.
Hey man, got to give into it.
As my dad would say. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing awesome, man. I had I'm coming freshly off of some extremely spicy Indian food hallucination, situation where it's so hot you're just like staring off into the distance. And I was just my wife was like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just kind of in another place right now, just dealing with it."
Indian food,
the opposite of a nap, melting my face with Indian food. Yeah,
It
such
lingers.
a unique heat. Yeah, it does. It's like an internal heat. It's not like burn your tongue heat.
It's an internal heat.
I want to say what's up to the chat real quick here. Thank you all for joining us where we come to you live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. More details will be announced on next Monday's show for some additional content that will be dropping next week. So stay tuned for that. More details to come. But for now, what's up, Chris, Sherry, Bagel, Christy, Tara, Tyler, Yanks fan, more. I think Karen. All right, there's more coming in. I'll shout you guys out as you get here. But tonight we are ranking the top 5 stage production villains.
The Cowardly Lion.
Not really.
The Cowardly Lion. The Cowardly Lion. The Cowardly Lion. The Cowardly
So
Lion.
when I sent out what our rankings are going to be in the chat, and we're going to be top 5 cinematic villains, and leave it to Rich, Clint Eastwood himself. Like, oh, does that include stage productions?
I just wanted to make sure our parameters were clear.
I mean,
I was trying to find a monocle to put on when I.
Oh my God! And now I'm thinking and I got to ask. Let's say I said yes, it does include stage productions. Would your list have been different?
My list is different than it was 5 minutes ago, so it's entirely possible.
It's an
Yeah,
amorphous
I
blob.
mean, this is going to be like last minute. It's going to be, live. Fuck it.
But you know what that means?
We'll do it live.
You know what that means, though, Rich, is you're going to speak from the heart because you're going to have to.
The speaking from the heart is that probably the wrong body part is where I'm going to be speaking from tonight. But
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually agree. You don't typically speak from your heart. You speak from your sphinx. So I'm sure there'll be more of that going on tonight. But with that being said, how is everybody feeling about their lists?
Pretty good. It took a while to get to be honest, because there's so much to it. I'm glad we didn't include animated only because of that reason, where it then opens up all these other crazy genres and it's a hard list, man. It really makes you remember that for every good hero, there's an antithesis, there's an antagonist, there's a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree. And it's my list changed and keeps evolving, kind of like Rich's. Like I forget about villains as keep thinking about it, and I keep starting to look at research, thinking about my favorite movies and things like that, and the villain within that movie. So I took my list about an hour ago and I said, no more edits. Keep it where it is. We're going to let it run.
Yep. To alive.
I mean, in other words, what you're trying to say is
you with I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Acting like he's launching missiles. It's just the news, bro.
every time. I don't care. I've seen that 3,000 or 4,000 times.
It's never not amazing.
Very impassioned fellow.
What gets me is it's the hair flip. We'll do it live. Fuck it. And his hair does one of these.
Baffled.
Makeup person comes in, sprays a little glue, pats it down. We'll do it
Oh my
live, and it
God.
just rips off again.
See, Christiane's got a great question in the comments. And I would say the answer to that is yes.
Oh,
I think he is. Yeah. I mean, he becomes a villain.
Yeah,
It's a very clever villain. It's a very it's a unique type of villain.
Yeah. And Rich, I'm sure, as Techie says, Rich is going to have as many honorable mentions as he can wedge into an hour show.
I'm not. I made a commitment to Tim that I was not going to include any more honorable mentions because Tim hates fun. So
He did say that. He said, "I hate fun stuff."
there will be no honorable mentions.
I do hate
Maybe in the Facebook group.
Hey, that works. And also, at the end of tonight, I want to throw it out to you guys. I want in the chat. I want your top villain of all time so we can talk about it. And I can tear apart any ones that I disagree with. So, that being said, does WWE fall under cinematic category?
That's a whole other can of
man.
worms. Yeah,
I'd call
I
that
would love-
theater. That's theater.
I would.
Yes, a stage production.
Stage production. Exactly.
That is a stage production. Okay,
It's real to me, damn it, but it's a stage production.
I see where you're going. And AJ, we need to get on and do a wrestling show. So let me know when you got some free time because we got to do some deep dives. And I would love to rank some of the best wrestlers in the history.
I mean that could be a top five wrestling villains.
Easily.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep.
Tim is a wrestling elemental. Like
Spoilers, Macho
you need to
Man
do
is on
show.
that list.
Macho Man is on that list.
You
Although
buy
I
some
don't,
Slim Jims.
you know what it is, man? Like I don't look at Macho Man as a villain though. He was much better as a babyface.
No, get out of here.
I think he was. I really do.
Save it for the show. Save it for the ring, you two.
We will. We'll save it. Now, who wants to start? We're going to go top 5 cinematic villains in the history of cinema, television. As a reminder, this is live action only. This is not including animated or stage productions, much to Rich's chagrin. Who wants to start us off with their number 5?
I can get this off.
Not it.
Go ahead. You got it, Donnelly.
All right. So my number 5 is my first introduction to this iconic character, where I first saw them on the screen and fell in love instantly with this character, this villain. And favorite villain of that franchise, and that would be the Joker, as portrayed particularly by Jack Nicholson.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I'll be honest. I feel like that's a little low for you.
It may be a little low. It's
Well-
the only DC mention on my list, and I'll put that out there too.
Say if
Wow.
he's 5, it makes me really
Okay.
interested what you have now. That's
Yeah.
that's good.
I
also-
figured Joker would have been higher on your list.
I've got to say, I respect the fact that you went with the Jack Nicholson Joker and not the low-hanging fruit of Heath Ledger.
It's the only correct answer.
I mean,
It's iconic. He's got the suit. He matches the comics. Like, just
You can cut
nailed
it.
the character
Yeah.
all the
he
way.
did nail the character, and that movie still holds up.
It does.
I've watched '89 Batman. God, I don't know how many times, like just since like COVID started.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. And
Ursula, let's go.
now that Ursula's poor unfortunate soul.
I mean, for animated, sure.
yes, I love it. Joker at number 5. We will go clockwise. Dan,
Sure.
number 5.
All right. So he enjoys waking up before the sun. All right. He starts his day with a 2-egg omelet. Okay. He stares at a blank canvas for a bit, wondering what could be. Wilson Fisk, number 5 for me. I'm going to do Wilson Fisk, portrayed by Vincent D'Onofrio, of course, mostly because of the Daredevil performance was incredible. But since then, everything he's done so far, I think he's been incredible as a villain.
I agree.
Very deep, very, I mean, if you haven't seen, Daredevil, watch it even just for that, just for his performance, because it's incredible.
He's a phenomenal actor.
He's
Yeah,
great
exactly.
in literally everything, man. And like, you could even say, I like that you went with Wilson Fisk, right? But you could actually say for Vincent D'Onofrio that he's just one of the best villain actors out there.
Sure.
That dude knows how to make you hate him.
Mhm.
Like if you think back to a lot of the movies, look at like the Jurassic World movie. He was such a hateable prick in that.
Oh yeah.
There's so many. I absolutely love him.
I think his Kingpin portrayal was a little bit more nuanced because
Absolutely.
there's times he's almost sympathetic. He almost comes off as this gentle giant, but then on a dime, he turns into this psychopath. Like the scene where he takes the guy's head off with a car door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he slams it over and over and over until it's
just pulp.
He's scary because he's extremely smart and calculated, but he will lose his temper at the drop of a hat, and when he does, it's a problem. Like he's almost so strong to be a superhero. Like he is as strong as some of those heroes. So he's a threat on multiple levels, and Vincent D'Onofrio just does such a great job of making such an unsettling villain.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like he says, I am the ill intent.
I says.
Who says to him, like in Daredevil, he says, I am the ill intent who sets upon the traveler on the road that he should not have been on. So it's essentially just saying like, I'm looking for the person who I can manipulate, take their power, grow, and just complete malice and he's my number 5.
Awesome. This is an interesting one here. My pick for sleeper, Homelander from The Boys. He's a damn good villain.
That's
Absolutely.
a good choice.
Yeah.
That's with this villain list. It's a constantly evolving list. It'll change based on your mood.
Yep.
The revolting blob. Mic drop. That's great. Rich, number 5.
Ooh, man. All right. I'm going to go with Oren Ishii from Kill Bill Volume 1, as portrayed by Lucy Liu. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 taken together is kind of Quentin Tarantino's magnum opus. All the characters were really fantastic, really fleshed out, but Oren in particular had a really poignant backstory that was explored, and I feel like she gave Uma Thurman's character more of a run for her money than any of the other really great characters in those movies.
Yeah. She was just absolutely psychotic too.
Yeah.
Like she had some screws loose, and Lucy Liu did an awesome job. Like just those little facial expressions and the kind of the little eye twitching where she was just, you could just see it, that she had literally like was totally unstable mentally. And they really hit it out of the park. Quentin Tarantino knocked it out of the park with casting her. And
Absolutely.
the scenes at the end of that movie with her.
Oh.
Oh my!
Well, the final
Final
confrontation, the sword
Yeah.
fight was one of my favorite sword fights in cinematic history. I think it's
who doesn't
fantastic.
love a good sword fight?
Wow.
You know,
I mean, if
And it's in a
if you
dojo.
do, if you don't, you just don't like fun. So maybe Tim, I don't know.
Honorable mention
I
to
like
sword
that.
fight.
I like that I am now being typecast as not enjoying fun when I'm just kind of a shit show, and that's pretty much all I do. But that being said, I guess it's on me now for my number 5. And my number 5, I can hear it now from Rich. He's going to say it's a little low. You're going to say it's a little low. I just know it. I know this is on your list. I'd be shocked if it's not. But my number 5, and I think it's in the right spot, T-1000, Robert Patrick.
Definitely a little low.
I'm glad somebody thinks so. And man, this list was so tough. Okay,
So tough.
he started off higher, and I kept reshuffling around. But like, to me, a great villain is someone that is genuinely thought to be a badass motherfucker that cannot be stopped. Right, someone with just the most malicious intent, super powerful, and the most important thing that I think of is how easy are they to kill? And this dude just could not be killed. When he started turning into the fucking like liquid metal, like, oh my God, like you're
How do you
thinking
fight liquid?
Well, and then
That's
the fake
when
out
he
at the
did-
end of the movie when he gets
nitrogen.
frozen and then shattered, and you're like, oh wow, they finally got him.
yes, I mean
Like
this
any
And then
villain
there's
could
another
survive
40
that.
minutes of the movie left.
yeah, like his
Look at
friggin'
that.
head gets split open for Christ's sakes. Like, I don't know. He was an amazing villain. Maybe it is a little low. If we did this again down the road, I might bring him up a little bit. But Robert
So-
Patrick as T-1000, absolutely love it.
Slight spoilers for my list.
Yeah,
He is not on it.
and you're regretting that right now.
He was a contender, but we'll
You
delve into that.
knowingly-
I knowingly we'll delve into that a little bit later.
All right, Donnelly, number 4.
So this villain is kind of like your comedic villain, I guess I'll put it. And he gave me 2 of my favorite phrases to say to people, and that's "make like a tree and get out of here."
Yep.
Followed up by "manure. Why's it always gotta be manure?"
Yep.
And that
Yep.
would be Biff Tannen.
Yep.
Biff.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I knowingly left him off too, and
That was another tough exclusion.
yeah, it was.
I'm actually I'm very surprised he's not on your list though, Tim.
Yeah, dude, he probably would be like 6 or 7 if I'm being honest. It was a really tough one to leave off. I absolutely love him. Back to the Future is one of my all-time favorite franchises. So like, trust me, it was not a decision I took lightly.
He played a very good meathead. Like
He did.
yeah.
Oh, the best.
but
I mean, there may not be a better meathead.
You know, but
I
I
think
think
he
even
was
the
the-
meathead role, like so much more to that. Like him as like after the the storyline changes and he's just detailing cars and things like that. Like he
Yeah,
sold
like,
that character so well too.
Yeah, he
Friggin'
was
Griff,
broken
yeah,
skull.
Griff Tannen, like he played he played so many different roles of the same character. I mean, it's crazy. He did such
Old
a
man
great
Tannen,
job.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, give me your lunch money.
I love it. I love that pick. All right, Dan, number 4.
Number 4, I'm gonna go with Lucifer as portrayed by Peter Stormare in Constantine,
Oh yeah.
or vice versa. But yeah, Peter Stormare's Lucifer in Constantine, because that, in my opinion, the best version of a devil, Satan, Lucifer, whatever. Absolutely, in my opinion, one of the greatest scenes. It just so unsettling, so creepy, but still, he has to play by the rules. He's very he has a mission, but he has to still, make sure he squeaks under the, the radar. Like it, very, very cool. Very cool villain.
Underrated movie.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. Wouldn't have made my list. Clearly,
He's a great actor.
Yeah. Peter Stormare is awesome in everything. but
He's
yeah.
another guy who just plays a really good bad guy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
just
does.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys I never know his name, but I see him in so many things and just
Yeah, I
recognize
wouldn't
that
have
face.
known.
And,
Yeah.
and he's usually playing a really good asshole.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
you had said Peter Stormare, I really didn't know. If you didn't say Lucifer, I would not. I'm terrible with names, but
Yeah, I wanted to put Constantine in there for that reason because
Yeah.
it is a name where you might not put it with the face. Yeah.
Yep. Rich, number
That's mine.
4.
Oof. Okay, this was a tough one. Number 4 is Magneto, as portrayed by Michael Fassbender.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
So this was tough. This was a tough one. I mean, I was going back and forth between him and Ian McKellen up until about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I know
I
you.
think
I get
it's just, I mean, Ian McKellen is absolutely fantastic. I think the problem is that the original X-Men movies were kind of a, diminishing returns. By the third one, they were not very good. All of the characters kind of went off the rails, which is, of course, no fault of the actors, but with Michael Fassbender, they gave him a lot more meat to chew on, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he chewed it up every scene he was in.
Right from Biff's
and-
head. He took the meat right from Biff's head. He had some to spare and he chewed it right off.
And he made the most of it in the 4 movies that he was in, and there was some diminishing returns in those movies as well. I don't think there was as significant of a drop off, but his Magneto was one of the more consistent elements in the through line of all those movies. It was very nuanced portrayal.
Yeah.
From his origins in the concentration camps to his relationship with Mystique.
He did capture that sadness very well with like the
Mhm.
desperation and the sadness of the concentration camp, scenes and stuff, flashing
Yeah.
back. I agree. He did nail it for sure.
So yeah, I know this might be the least popular opinion as far as Magneto goes, but there you
Yeah,
have it.
I don't think it belongs on a top 5, but that's the beauty of this. It's your top 5. I love Fassbender's Magneto. Absolutely love it. Love McKellen's too. Like I think they were the saving grace. Magneto as a villain, they were really the saving grace in those movies. Like I could see myself having that in like a top 10, maybe top 15. I know you're a bigger fan of those movies, I would say, than I am, but I love him and his portrayal, so I don't fault it. You know what I mean? Like I respect it.
And he's another fantastic actor that
He
does
is.
villains really well.
Mhm.
Again, one of the best parts of the Alien prequels, his character David.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
Yavid.
yeah.
Love it. My number 4, I went specific because we tried to be specific with portrayals. This one was tough because there are multiple. I took a step into the horror movie genre here. And my number 4, I went with Jason Voorhees as portrayed by Kane Hodder.
Yes.
Now, is Kane Hodder's Friday the 13th my favorite? There's one of them probably makes my top 3, but his version of Jason in 7 and 8 and Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell, like
X was really good. Yeah.
unbelievable. Like he just was so menacing. And my favorite version, when I think of like Jason Voorhees, I think of Kane Hodder. I think of his portrayal. He just, in my opinion, was the best.
I think he was the whitest one. He was the whitest version of Jason, if I'm not mistaken, as well, because he also had those massive biceps back then too. Like on top of being a pretty big dude. Like
Yeah,
he was all bloated from being at the
I think he solidified that kind of just
look at him.
slow lumbering.
Yeah.
Like usually like the slashers are like, sometimes a little bit skinnier, a little scrawnier, but yeah, Jason's not. Jason will grab you through the drywall.
And I don't care what anybody says, Jason X is not a bad movie.
It's
I
not a
agree.
bad movie. It's not. It's not a great movie.
It's not a good movie, but it's
No,
not a
but
bad
It was
movie
fun.
either.
I think it's
They're meant to
fun.
be, they're meant to be fun, not good.
Yeah, I agree. When it came down to it, I spent a lot of time between a couple of different actors that portrayed Jason. And it came down to, I remember just some of the most awesome kills in Friday the 13th, 7 and 8. Especially Jason Goes to Hell. There were some brutal kills. So for that reason, that's my number 4. And we are now into the top 3. Donnelly, number 3.
See, for me, the top 3 is really the list I make, and then I have 2 honorable mentions off of that. Otherwise, I get overwhelmed. So this is really the meat and potatoes of my list, and that's where I put the T-1000.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, for all the reasons already said, like he's virtually indestructible. The guy got frozen and shattered and then melted and pooled back together and forming another, robot. Like,
A robot. Another
Robot.
robot.
Yep. How do you account for a little nanobot liquid puddle? Like, what are you going to do to that?
you're going to pour it in molten metal is hope for the best.
Yep.
Cast it into something embarrassing, like an old lady's walking cane or something. Like, there, you have to live out the eternity of your life as a walking cane.
Back scratcher.
We can't kill you. So we have to banish you.
Yeah, I obviously respect the hell out of that pick. Made my list. Can't fault you.
And let's give it up also for Capri Sun. You wouldn't have Capri Sun without the cutting edge technology that came from the T1000.
Yeah, shout out to Capri Sun for the
No roaring waters. Yeah.
and Secret World of Alex Mack.
Yes,
Thank
the
you.
same
Yeah,
deck. Sure did.
absolutely. Shout out to Nick, man. Come on. Good stuff.
Oh man. Number 3, Dan.
Number 3. I think I brought him up last week or the week before, but Christoph Waltz's character, Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards. He was the Jew hunter in that movie. So he was the Nazi that was trying to find everyone and all that. And he was such a diabolical, weird, like a snake of a villain.
Such a good movie.
Yeah. Like he would put on this very, like comedic and, jovial persona, but then he would get very serious and get right to the heart of something. And then like play it off like it was a joke, and then get everyone all. It was a very weird paced, performance, and yeah, I think he nails it perfectly. Like that movie, I watch the movie for his role. Like I don't watch it for the rest of it for the most part. Yep,
I respect it. I respect
Waltz.
Yeah, he's just another guy who just plays amazing villains. He's got such a hateable face and voice and way about him.
And he plays a very good,
punch
maniac.
him in the nose.
Yeah. Yep.
If you can get him.
Rich, number 3.
Oof. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 things listed under a possible number 3.
No
Oh
boy.
boy, that's a traffic jam there.
But my number 3, I'm going to go with my gut here. T800.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, calculator.
Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
TI.
That's-
Oh, that's me. That's a Texas Instrument. My bad.
I have to go with the original. I mean,
Yeah.
the original Terminator from the original movie. I mean, that's what started it all.
Mhm.
He was relentless, merciless, and you felt genuine dread when you saw him on screen. He didn't run. He just kind of, almost similar to Jason, just kind of like lumbered.
He wasn't concerned about whether or not he was going to get you. He has all the time in the world. He will get you.
Yeah. He was just methodical and, kind of similar to the T2 fake out, at the end of the movie when they're in the Cyberdyne Systems lab and you think it's over, and he gives you the fake out and just starts, I think his lower half has been destroyed, and he's still coming after Sarah Connor, just crawling with his arms. Yeah.
And so creepy the way he hauls his mechanical shitty body, like the way that it was puppeted, it looked very convincingly heavy and like weird and unsettling.
Mhm.
Stan Winston Studios.
Yep.
That's I mean, that was, I mean, obviously the Arnold was the a big portion of the portrayal throughout most of the movie, but certainly credit where credit's due to Stan Winston Studios and the actual endoskeleton, which is of course iconic.
It was a Jim Henson level showing for sure.
I have to ask though. I always wondered, why do the endoskeletons have to have human teeth? It's so unsettling for me.
We still like steak.
Well, I mean, they're built to have skin over them, so when
that is true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a robot, not dead. I want dessert. Anything really.
So anyway, they're built to have the bioorganic skin on top of them.
Well, yeah, can't they just attach the teeth in that stage?
The teeth complete. So are you proposing Terminator dentures?
Yeah, perfect.
Invisalign.
It's Terminator dentures.
But they're going to be the shitty glow in the dark Halloween teeth that your kids always put in once and then put all the spit covered right back in their pocket.
Yeah,
give them the vampire teeth.
I love it.
The wax teeth, but they're all like off center because they don't care. They just jammed them in there. I must look human, must replicate.
The Crypt Keeper definitely counts. Yeah. Tara asked if the Crypt Keeper counts. Yes, he definitely counts.
He definitely counts. No question about it.
Crypt Keeper was amazing.
Agreed.
Love that show.
Dude.
Yeah, he counts. I mean, honestly, like anyone that's where you want, really. There's so many different villains out there that are villainated. So villainated.
They put something in my eyes.
It's a new word right up there with squidgular.
Dude, you gotta see the video, Rich, of the villainated lady. I gotta find that.
Squidtacular.
It's fantastic. But my number 3, I didn't go Jack Nicholson. I went Heath Ledger, Joker.
Okay.
Batman 89 and Jack Nicholson's Joker, I might be more drawn to. Yeah. But when it comes to someone who just came in and killed a role and did everything they were asked, that was asked of them and more, it was Heath Ledger. And to this day, when I watch this movie, I don't think of Heath Ledger. I'm just watching the Joker.
Yes.
It's, I'm not thinking about 10 Things I Hate About You when I'm watching this. Although
the
10
Brothers
Things I Hate About You, great movie. Fantastic movie.
The Brothers Grimm was really good too.
Yes. Brokeback Mountain, another one of my favorites.
I didn't see that.
That was a joke. But that being said,
you've seen weirder stuff too. Come on.
That is true.
I've seen you log into my Netflix and stuff. I see.
You see what I watch.
I see.
But yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker. The Joker had to make the list. There's so many ways you could go with it. Obviously, if it was animated, it was going to be Mark Hamill. But we're not doing stage productions or cartoons. So, that's what I had to go with.
That's solid.
So, number 2. Number 2, Donnelly.
So, my number 2, this guy.
Pick a number 2.
I'll tell you, he really had it made. He had the perfect heist, the perfect plan, all ready to go down on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
yeah, Hans Gruber.
Oh,
that guy was supposed to walk out of there the richest man in the world, and instead he fell from like 102 stories. You know what I mean? Like, what a way for your plans to change, but just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole portrayal, everything, the way that it was done, the accent, and just the lines.
He was a great sleazebag
by him.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, man. I cannot find an image that is big enough.
How do you not have an image of Hans Gruber?
Donnelly, I thought you were describing the Sticky Bandits from Home Alone until you said it was one person, and I was like, nah, it's not Home Alone.
That's good.
Arguably the best action movie of all time,
and not arguably, but the best Christmas movie of all time.
It's not a fucking Christmas movie, for Christ's sakes.
No,
it's
100% is.
Listen, just because you don't love fun doesn't mean the rest of us don't.
All right. So I'm gonna put this out there. If Christmas
it happens during Christmas, they play Christmas music. It's a fucking Christmas movie.
Well, here's the thing.
The dead guy in the elevator has "ho ho ho" written in blood. It's a Christmas movie.
But listen,
It's not.
Christmas movies are defined by
I will
Christmas
die on that
being a
hill.
plot driving point. Christmas is a plot driving point in this movie. If it weren't for Christmas, the building
He
wouldn't
would
have been
not have
empty.
been on that plane.
They would not have been there. John wouldn't have been there. There wouldn't have been a Christmas party where everybody was all on one floor only. Christmas is a plot driving point of the movie. Therefore, it's a Christmas movie.
I'm
I
getting
will concede
feisty.
this.
I'll start throwing fisticuffs.
Well, listen, I'll
No.
concede that, but let me ask you this: to be a Christmas movie, is somebody has to learn a warm-hearted lesson about being
That's
a better
not accurate.
person. Does that not happen in that one?
So just because the time of season that a movie takes place, if the plot point,
It has to have a lesson, though. It
this.
has to have a Christmas
Well,
lesson.
so Just
How is there not a
because-
Christmas lesson? Are you saying there's not a Christmas lesson?
I'm asking you what the Christmas lesson is of the movie.
The Christmas lesson is to get back together with your wife and make this try and
It's
work.
not a
Throw
Christmas
bad guys out of
lesson.
buildings. What the
Just
fuck?
like
not a
everyone
Christmas
goes through every Christmas. Dad-
Okay.
Has everyone
All right.
lost their
Friends with Carl
minds?
Winslow.
All right. So the time of the season or the holiday that happens to be going on in the background of the plot of a movie does not make
There
it
is
a
Christmas
movie.
music playing
Yep.
throughout.
Okay. You know how many movies there's Christmas music playing in
Fine.
that aren't
Home Alone's
Christmas
not a
movies?
Christmas
You're-
movie either by that
Home
Typically
logic.
Alone,
during
it's
Christmas
about
movies.
Christmas. They're buying Christmas presents.
No, they're
They
not.
go away for Christmas. They take a
You-
trip.
Just
for
like a
Christmas.
Christmas party that
Name
happens
me
for
another
Christmas.
movie that plays Christmas music. That's not a Christmas.
Hawkeye, the series on Disney Plus for Marvel. Is that a Christmas show? Yeah, is it a Christmas series?
Is there one episode about Christmas? I haven't
Nope,
seen the
it's the
series, so I
whole
don't know.
fucking thing. It's the whole thing.
It's the
And
whole thing.
before I drop the mic here, Bruce Willis himself came out on stage and said, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
His
that's fine.
opinion
He's
is
acting in the
irrelevant.
movie.
He didn't write it. He
Right.
didn't write the movie.
He
He
didn't
didn't
write it, but
direct
he's
the
the
movie.
fucking star of the
So
damn
what?
It doesn't
movie.
matter.
Hey, it's not a Christmas movie. It never will be, and I
It
cannot
100% is.
stand.
You're
cannot
absolutely wrong.
stand-
100%.
Is a plot driving point in the movie.
Nope.
Therefore, it's a
100%
Christmas
wrong.
movie.
It's a movie
If
about a
it wasn't
robbery and a
Christmas,
heist.
If it was December 10th, then that wouldn't have worked. They wouldn't have emptied the building. They wouldn't have evacuated everybody. He wouldn't have had the opportunity to crack into the safe, going through all of that time. It wouldn't have worked.
It's okay to
Not-
be wrong every once in a while, Tim.
Not a Christmas movie, and it never will be. I'll never be convinced, and you can all die on that hill. Hopefully,
I
not.
will die.
You
on
know
that
what we'll have to
hill.
do is we'll have to find an edit where they put the warm-hearted like ending scene to like warm Christmas music and see if it feels like a Christmas movie.
There
at that
was
point.
Christmas magic.
No, there was not. No, there was not.
There was no magic. No, I'm saying what if we add the magic?
I
Christmas
challenge you to watch Die Hard and not feel Christmas
I've
magic
seen
at the
Die
end.
Hard so many damn times. I've never felt Christmassy. I'm just horny because I love the movie.
I know you hate fun. You hate
I
Christmas.
Second time Tim's brought up 10 things I hate about you. I'm smelling a rom-com episode and pencil me in for a guest spot. You're on.
That would be
Let's
awesome.
do it. I'm totally down. Nothing better than a good rom-com. However,
Tyler's seen them all.
who did we leave off on? Donnelly was number 2.
Yeah, that was my number 2, so it stands.
Dan number
Number
2.
two.
I'm so
Yeah.
aggravated. I don't even care what Dan's pick is.
It is a Christmas movie. Rich.
I'm gonna try not to. I'm not gonna do anything controversial and get you
We're gonna
fired
have to
up
put a
again.
poll on Facebook.
My number 2 is Heath Ledger's Joker, just because it's already been said he's the king of the Jokers for me. Just incredible performance. That movie might as well just be called The Joker.
They have that one, you know.
Yeah, so
Not as good. though. Not as good.
this one did it first though. But yeah, I love his version of, he's holding up a mirror to structure, to society, to humans, and saying like, when you're stripped down, when you're at your worst, you're animals, and to pretend anything else is a farce. You're all just living this pretend life, but when it all comes crashing down, what are you going to do? And he's trying to force that value on Gotham, on Batman, and all that. It's incredible, and that's going to be my number 2.
I agree. Good number 2.
Thank
By
you.
the nickel for every
Not the
time I
first
told
time I've
myself
heard
that. That being
All right.
said, number 2, Rich.
So my original number 2 was
Hey,
Hans.
guess what? Nobody cares.
Oh.
All right, let's
Oh,
move
shit.
right on here. Move right on to number 1. Oh, what happened? Something happened.
So as I was saying, that being said, my number 2 was Hans Gruber.
Of course,
Nice
it was.
choice.
In the interest of trying to extend an olive branch and not completely derailing this shit show, I am going to call a last minute audible, and it's going to be my one and only TV villain. It's going to be the cigarette smoking man from the X-Files.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. I think you should have stuck with this guy.
See,
Dude.
Christmas. There you go.
X-Files is probably my favorite TV show of all time. And anytime you saw the opening credits and saw the name William B. Davis, you knew you were in for a wild ride.
Yes.
He was the like the secret government, like
Mhm.
way like, you know,
Big Brother's
Can-
Big Brother.
yeah, exactly. There were so many layers, and he had his hands in everything. He was absolutely fantastic.
I got to ask you real quick, since you're an
Yeah.
X-Files fan, what did you think about the Fiji Mermaid episode?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a classic.
It's one of my favorite all-time
That is
episodes.
not cigarette smoking, man.
Like,
Yeah.
the Fiji Mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Fiji Mermaid episode always burned in my brain. It's one of my favorite episodes of any TV thing ever. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's a classic. That's an X.
so unsettling and creepy.
Yeah.
I clicked on the wrong image.
That-
God
that's,
damn it.
that's an alien bounty hunter, Tim. Jesus
I
Christ.
know. Shut up. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to get it.
He had a healthy glow.
There we go.
There
he
we go.
is.
Okay.
That's
Good.
more realistic to a character named the cigarette smoking man.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I could have
No
done
wrinkle.
top 5 just TV villains, but he definitely tops that list.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad.
not bad at all.
What are we on now? We're on number.
You're number 2, Timmy.
Take it
my
two.
number 2. All right. All right. Let me
Sock
cue
it
it
to
up
me.
here. Gonna cue it up, and I don't care if I get hate for this or not.
Hey, man.
It just is.
Oh, I hope it's something I disagree with. I'm in a
No,
combative mood tonight.
You of
We'll
all
do it
people,
live.
You of all people will not disagree with this one, unfortunately. I wish you would, because there's nothing I love more than arguing with you. But yeah, this is me attempting to kill time while I pull the image. We got it. Number 2, I am going with Thanos as portrayed by
yeah.
Josh Brolin.
Joseph.
When you think of a villain, and it's not just because I'm a Marvel mark, okay? When you think of a villain, you think of somebody that is threatening something in a big way. Is there anything bigger than snapping your finger and wiping out half of the population of the universe?
Mhm.
Not sure there is. Talk about someone who's difficult to kill, someone who has it set in his mind. This goes back to the comics, but we'll just speak just for the movies themselves that involve Thanos. It's not even that he's sick and twisted and evil. He has it in his head that it's a good idea and that he's saving
He's the hero.
humanity.
Yeah,
He's the
twisted
hero.
logic.
Right.
And that really makes it just puts him over the top for me.
Well,
Um,
and that brings up a good point with listen,
Not a bad
that is not a bad pick. Yeah, the Regina George is I mean, I think she's a top 10 villain for sure.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But no, I think the Thanos brings up a good point that most of the best villains are somewhat sympathetic,
Yep.
typically very intelligent. And, you know, if you just kind of, you know, change your thinking a little bit, you can almost see where they're coming from.
You can see
Like,
the mental gymnastics they went through to.
Well, I mean, especially with Thanos, I mean, was he completely wrong?
No, he wasn't. That's the thing.
Right. And
I say yes.
And I
because
think that's
If
one
I
of
had
the
an
elements of a
infinity
great
gauntlet,
villain.
I'd snap my finger right now.
Right.
Well, here's the
I mean,
problem, though.
Wipe out half of
we
you
already know I don't want anybody on my lawn, so
Aside from the war crimes, though, the problem with this plan is that
Aside from the war crimes.
all that aside, if you can put his weird chin and war crimes aside, the reason why it won't work or why it's a bad idea is because all those people are just going to repopulate the universe again anyway. So he's going to have to keep doing it. So when the people you're saving don't ever learn the lesson, what's the point of teaching? So,
I think a good villain makes you stop and think.
Well, a good villain is a failed hero. So you have to have a flaw.
You're not wrong.
You have to have a flaw in you to be a villain.
I'm going to put Hans Gruber was a failed hero on a t-shirt. I love it.
with a Santa hat on it or not on it.
A little Santa hat in the corner.
No, what you do, Rich, is you sell both and you figure out which shirt sells the most. And that's how you poll. That's how you poll everyone.
I like it. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll see which one sells the most, and that will settle the bet.
Number one, best villain in cinema history, live action. Donnelly, who's your number one?
So I think you guys just listed a lot of characteristics from my number one. Super intelligent, thinks they're doing the right thing, really believes in what they're doing to save as opposed to, hurt. And that's HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Number one villain of all time, in my opinion.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
That is a great pick.
I mean, how menacing in that voice, so calm, so collected. And it's just, you see so many shots in the movie are just that too, It's like, oh my God, it'll give you nightmares if you think about it too much.
Yep. That's a great pick. It didn't make my list, but I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Dan, number one.
Number one for me is going to be Darth Vader. But it's not going to be the version you think.
Oh.
So I'm going to go with the version from the finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That version of Vader, that performance, that version, that portrayal. I liked hearing a little bit of Anakin's voice with Darth Vader's modulator on. That version of Darth Vader, completely unhinged, completely full of wrath, going all out, like not holding anything back. I think that version of Darth Vader, that timeline of Darth Vader is my favorite.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, wow. There's so many incredible villains, but I just feel like Darth Vader is all of them just their complicated backstory, physical damage and deformation, role model crisis, like all this stuff, all jammed into one person with a little helmet on top.
If I was going Darth Vader, that wasn't like the OG, I think I'd go Darth Vader where he just fucking annihilates everyone in that hallway at the end.
Oh, Rogue One. Did you say Rogue One? You cut out a little bit. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But
that's I love that.
Also, he may have the best one-liner in possibly all of Star Wars. The don't choke on your ambition.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't choke on your ambition.
So great.
And during that last fight, during that Obi-Wan episode, the season finale, he says, "Anakin's gone, I'm what remains." But he says it with the half the fucking mask on, and then he says, "Your strength," your strength has returned, but your weakness remains. Implying to Obi-Wan that you may be still able to fight, but you're still wrong because your side is X, Y, and Z. It's incredible portrayal.
Fun fact about that: I thought they brought James Earl Jones in to revoice. They did not. He signed over his permission to chop up his audio and use his voice for all future Star Wars movies, and that was all done in that way. He didn't actually record those lines.
Really?
Oh, wow.
When you heard James Earl Jones, it was a mashup of them messing with his audio to create,
just like AI creating.
Yeah,
that's crazy what they can pull off now with facial stuff, with voice lines, dude.
Yep.
It gives me hope for things like Lance Reddick. People like Lance Reddick that passed away, but he's still in the middle of a project. Like maybe they can make stuff like that work more.
Yeah,
now, as long as the families are okay with it.
Yep.
Riddick, that's a good movie. Is that what you're talking about? Riddick.
Great movie.
Lance Reddick. Lance Reddick, the actor, but
Riddick is such a good movie.
Riddick is an amazing
movie. It's such a good movie. That's overkill.
But I enjoyed the entire series, all of Riddick.
You're not a Fast and the Furious fan, are you, Rich?
Casual. I mean, they're fun for what they are, but
they're just fun, dumb movies.
Exactly. I do enjoy the Pitch Black movies though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Those are weird, wild movies.
They
Weird,
are.
wild stuff.
All right, Rich, you're number one.
My number one
What do we
is
got?
also Darth Vader, but the OG original trilogy Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the David Prowse, James Earl Jones 1-2 punch. For my money, I don't think you can beat it. I mean, that is
You can't.
he is the quintessential villain. You know, the first time you see him, most of us were kids. I was for sure. You know,
Mhm.
This guy in this like skull looking mask, dressed all in black. I mean, you know, he had this weird breathing voice.
Like, what does he
You know,
look like?
he was very
Yeah.
intimidating watching that as a child.
Mhm.
And, you know, he is the villain that I compare all villains to.
Yeah, he does. He feels like every villain you love jammed into one character, and you get it. Yeah, you get it all.
You do. I'm not saying a whole lot because it is also my number one. And here's the deal. I thought about going with Emperor Palpatine, but Vader carried out Palpatine's,
Right.
I guess, vision as the true villain. So I feel like to hang your hat on someone, and it's David Prowse, and it's his mannerisms, it's the pointing, that's all David Prowse, and that along with James Earl Jones's voice and the design of the costume, the helmet, the story that we got later in the prequels, in the new trilogy, and the story that they continue to build on because it's such a compelling story of Anakin being the father of Luke and Leia and turning and good versus evil. I don't think there's a better, when you think of what makes a good villain, right? Or even what makes a good hero, it's that contrast. You need that good and the evil. You need that very clear. And I think most movies and entertainment shows, whatever you want to call it, that struggle don't have a clear-cut villain. So they try to build a hero or a good guy, but there's not that antagonist. Right. And no one in the history of cinema, in my opinion, does a better job at light versus dark, good versus evil than the Star Wars franchise. Just down to the color of the damn lightsabers. I mean, they literally don't miss a detail. And
to your point,
Vader.
Yeah, and to your point, Star Wars knows what they're doing with their villains and heroes because they make the villains weave a bit into the good, and then they make the good people kind of, ask themselves, am I doing what I should be? They get tempted by the evil side, so like they make them kind of blur together, and that's why they're interesting. When something's like, oh, only good guy, only bad guy, it's boring, unless so it's like they know what they're doing for a long-term villain and fight.
And as great as the Emperor was, I mean, he. For most of the original trilogy, he was the puppet master. Darth Vader was the enforcer. He was the one that
like a package deal.
Yeah, like everybody in the original trilogy all the characters feared Darth Vader. I mean, the Emperor was there, but he was just kind of off in the shadows, pulling the strings. Vader was the one that was out there getting his hands dirty.
I've been busy lurking and skulking.
Biomechanical hands.
Yeah.
So that is it, right? We all went through. That's our top five.
That's our top five.
Anybody?
That is it.
All right. I know we've seen a lot in the chat. Let us know, who is your favorite villain? You could also vote. Let us know.
Somebody mentioned Hannibal Lecter. That was a near miss for me.
Hannibal Lecter.
There were a lot of good choices in there.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins.
The chat had some great picks. Tyler's going to repeat this one because he thinks Kevin Spacey is John Doe in 7.
100%.
Great.
One of my all-time favorite movies.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. And man, you want to talk about just
that was a near miss for me.
It was for me too. It was one I considered. So I respect the hell out of that pick. Also, Hannibal Lecter.
What's in the box?
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. 7.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Voldemort. I mean,
that was a near miss for me.
Yeah. My wife
not
was
a near miss for me. I don't like Harry Potter. I don't like Harry Potter, but I respect it.
Voldemort would have been top 10 for me.
Doctor
Doctor
Evil.
Evil.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah,
he
it's on.
He
on the
is a
table.
He's the
villain.
villain, yeah.
He's a good villain.
That's my honorable mention.
Q from
Q
Star
from
Trek.
Star Trek. That's a nice
But
choice.
Q wasn't a true villain. I mean, at the end of the day, he kind of, he was never malicious.
No,
And
he was just trying to have fun.
He was trying to teach the crew, the Enterprise, some kind of lesson. He
I mean,
went
they
about
always
it in
got
a
a
really
lesson out of it.
way, but
I feel like Q
he
wasn't.
was. I don't think he was ever a true villain. Not like like the Borg.
No, the Borg were a true villain, but Q was out there. It wasn't that he was trying to teach a lesson in my eyes. He was just genuinely playing a game and having fun.
Right.
What
I don't want a Harry Potter man.
what if
That's
one
a
of us came
long
on
time too? How about the new Harry Potter series coming up, huh? That's wild.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
I couldn't care any less.
What if one of us came to the list with it was like Dalek 34B7 in like one of the universes of one of the versions of Doctor Who? We were like, there's some reason why the way that they just kind of jammed at them in the corner and just yelled at them a bit, that one just sold the performance. B1725 is my favorite.
PT said Pennywise. Which version?
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, which version, Pete?
Pennywise was on my first draft. I will say that.
I'm going to be honest, and I don't say this very often. I love Tim Curry. I love the original It movies. I love Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård did a better job, and the new It movies are better than the originals. And I hate to say that. I don't say that about many things, but those new It movies are spectacular.
They're fantastic. But I will challenge you: is the portrayal of it better in the newer version because of the visual effects?
No,
it's the voice.
No, because the visual effects were outside of the spider. They were good. They were good in the original. Yeah. Like the visual effects, I thought were really good.
Sure.
For me, it's like in the original, they played on the fact that people were scared of clowns rather than make a really scary looking clown. I don't think he was all that scary looking. As a kid, I felt otherwise.
But right, and I think that's I'm going on the nostalgia factor. I have to go with Tim Curry.
You can do that totally. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, Tim Curry's incredible anyway, but like just if you're going for absolute fear value, it's Skarsgård for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And the voice and the eye and the face. And, oh my God.
Want to play a game? Yeah, dude. It was just
Chris Hexus and Fern Gully all day. That's amazing. Tara agrees. Well, that being said, I think we're up to 7 of those now, but that's okay.
No,
any final thoughts before we send this bitch home?
I want to put out there 2 things real quick.
Yep.
Tim Curry as the Darkness in Legend. One of my favorite Tim Curry villains.
Tim Curry's fantastic. And
Tim Curry as the hotel manager in Home Alone 2. Great villain.
Oscar-winning performance.
But then
Tim Curry and Mr. Body in Clue.
Clue, yep, he was great.
Oh yes, but he wasn't a villain though.
Yeah, he was. I think
he was an accomplice.
Yeah. He was the main villain.
I don't think he was a villain.
He was 100% the villain of that movie.
I don't know. You could, depending on what.
Do yourself a favor. Go watch it again.
I haven't seen it in years, but I love it.
It's so good.
Clue's good. Holds
up. It is. Anything else? Dan,
I wanted to put out there real quick.
Oh, Donnelly, go ahead.
Just Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Everybody should be playing that game right now.
Yeah,
it's gonna win so many awards. It's fantastic.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Fuck it.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
I feel
Thank you everyone for hanging out with us.
Just because I said fuck it, I feel like one more time.
One more for the road. Villainated.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all for us for tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining us live. If you are watching this after the fact,
I don't get a final thought. It's fine.
Well, you don't fucking speak, so go ahead.
You have the mic.
Jump in. Floor is yours, Rich. The stage is yours.
Now I don't have anything to say.
You have to. It's like the talking stick. You have to pass the baton. Like now, Rich has the floor. Go ahead.
You sure, Rich?
Yeah. No, I'm good. It's fine.
All right. Hold up. Rich is the podcast or the show's Columbo, where he's like, and just one more thing.
The fucking glass eye.
His foot's out the door swinging. He's like, yeah, no, hold on. No.
Oh my god, I love it.
All right, just sign us out. Get us out of here.
I'm getting us out of here. Thanks again. If you're watching us live, eviscerate the thumbs up button. Please hit the like button. Helps us out a lot. If you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? You need to subscribe. That way you can stay up to date on all of our content. There is a lot more to come. More to come on that on next Monday's show. We've got some announcements to make to bring you more of our stupidity every week. But we appreciate all the support and all seriousness. You can check us out every Monday night right here live on YouTube at Nerdstalgia Pod on all the socials. For Donnelly, for Dan, for Rich, I am Tim, your host. Thanks again, everybody, and we hope you have a great week. Take care.